States of America some 73 years ago. And maybe 5 years ago, I was sitting in America at home watching a CNN broadcast. And in that broadcast, it was talking about how young African youth were trying to make their way to the North African ports to cross the Mediterranean Sea to get into Europe. Some of them were dying in the Sahara Desert. Some of them got to North America to cross the Mediterranean Sea.
Africa, Africa, Africa. We love you, we do. Our heart beats for you. With every step I take, I'll fight for you for God's sake. We love you, we do. Our heart beats for you. With every step I take, I'll fight for you for God's sake. Africa.
Assalamu alaikum. That means peace be unto you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. That means in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. If anything that you prepare to do in your life, if you can't pronounce God's name over it first, then you shouldn't do it. My name is Yusuf Bilal, but I'm better known as Mr. Yusuf. I was born and raised in the United States of America some 73 years ago. And maybe 5 years ago, I was sitting in America at home watching a CNN broadcast. And in that broadcast, it was talking about how young African youth were trying to make their way to the North African ports to cross the Mediterranean Sea to get into Europe. Some of them were dying in the Sahara Desert. Some of them got to North America to cross the Mediterranean Sea, and they perished in the Mediterranean Sea because their boats capsized. So this disturbed me very much. So I said to myself, I don't know what I could do in order to change things, to make things better, but I need to go to Africa. I need to go back home to my ancestral roots and see how I can change things. So in 2021, I came to Africa. I went to Senegal, I went to Mali, I went to Burkina Faso, I went to Niger, I went to Gambia, Sierra Leone, and then Ghana. So now, as of October 2021, I reside in Accra, Ghana. And I'm trying to do things, to make a difference. My direction is really directed toward the youth, seeing how I can educate, mentor youth. So I have given myself a design, a platform, a uniform, and my uniform is a construction uniform that I wear. And what it denotes is I build minds. I build children's minds, because when people see me in the streets dressed like this with the construction, where they ask me, are you a construction worker? You build things? And I say, yes, I build minds. I build children's minds, and I mentor children. So thus far, I have written a book called What Africa Needs. I have written a pledge of allegiance to Africa. I have written a patriotic song called Africa, 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 and I've designed a very good Pan Africanist logo, stating that Africa should become one continent. We should work as Pan Africanists to make this continent into one country. Why? Because if Africa became one country and one president, one currency, one language, one military, it would become one of the most powerful nations on the planet Earth. Yes, it would become one of the most powerful nations in the planet Earth. Oftentimes when people think of Africa, they think of poverty, disease, civil war. I'm going to change that image. So I've come to Africa to do PR, for this continent. This is my ancestral home, so I'm here. I'm here to stay. So I have now decided I would start a campaign, a mission, and it's called Patriotism is a Must. Patriotism is a must. And it's focused on the youth. I've noticed that the young people here and most people here, they don't have patriotism toward Africa. People in America, they're very patriotic about being Americans. People in China, they're very patriotic about being Chinese. The people in India, Japan, Mexico, wherever I've traveled the world, I've seen the patriotism in the people. But I don't see it here in Africa, like it should be, because the young people are trying to leave. They're trying to go to the UK, they're trying to go to America, they're trying to go to Canada, Germany, elsewhere for a better quality of life. And I understand that. But what I don't understand is why the educational system here and the governments have not indoctrinated in the children that Africa is the wealthiest continent on the face of the earth. It is the only continent that can survive without the other continents. Yes, and I don't know why this haven't been taught in the educational system, that the world cannot live without the resources that we have in Africa. That's why the Chinese are here. That's why the Russians are here, and the East Indians and the Arabs, because they need what we have here. And I believe if these children were taught at a very young age what we have here, they would not be so apt to run and try to escape Africa, dying in the Sahara Desert, drowning in the Mediterranean Sea, going to America to be mistreated, going to Canada to be mistreated just because they're Africans. And again, in my travels around the world, I have seen that the African people, we are the most despised and rejected people on the planet Earth, And it's shameful that we flee our homes here in Africa to go somewhere else to be mistreated. So I think the educational system here has to be revamped. We have to take another look at the educational system, that we are teaching our children, that going somewhere else is better than staying here in Africa. And I totally disagree with that. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here. That's part of my mission. And patriotism is a must, is my motto now. Patriotism is a must. What can we do to instill in our youth that Africa is the place to be? We don't have to flee. We don't even understand that we're the original people on the planet Earth. Most of us Africans, we don't even know that we birthed humanity. We're the original people. Africa, the first civilization, is here. First civilization known to man is on this continent. And every time we mate with any other race, an African was born, because our genes are so indestructible and so aggressive. So we are great people. And I don't see this type of patriotism in the African people. Now that I'm here, I'm living here now, I don't hear discussions about that. I don't see it in the behavior of the youth who are trying to flee. Every time someone meets me and see that I'm an American, they want me to help them go to America. And I'm saddened by that. I am very saddened by that. Yes, I was born and raised in the United States of America. Big deal. But I understand that I'm an African, and I should be patriotic to this continent, even though my ancestors were stolen, kidnapped, taken away. But God is great. And even though we as Black Americans who live in America, even though we were taken away, separated from our roots in Africa, God has blessed the Black Americans to be the most educated and wealthiest group of Black people on the planet Earth. We have a combined income, a combined aggregate income of $2 trillion a year, which makes us the 9th economic power on the face of the earth. So there's a lot of work to be done here, but most of it can be done through the educational system. We need to revamp the educational system because it's still a colonial education system. And anytime you teach in another man's tongue, you will know more about him than you will know about your own self or your own culture, because the schools here in Ghana are being taught in the English language. The French schools, former colonial nations that speak French and educate their people in the French language, they know more about France and French culture and French history than they do about their own selves. So we have to change this. We have to fix this. It's a problem. So again, my mission, patriotism is a must, is kicking off here soon in Accra. I will need the support of all people, all diasporans, all Africans around the earth. This is my first YouTube video. So I hope you will subscribe and like it, and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you for watching.